Hi everybody, it is Friday and time for another FLC Youth devotion in our Lenten series. This week's theme is shifting our gaze. So first I'm going to read from Mark chapter 9. Then Jesus and his followers left that place and went through Galilee. He didn't want anyone to know where he was because he was teaching his followers or his disciples. He said to them, "The Son of Man will be handed over to people, and they will kill him. After 3 days, he will rise from the dead." But the followers did not understand what Jesus meant, and they were afraid to ask him. Jesus and his followers went to Capernaum. When they went into a house there, he asked them, "What were you arguing about on the road?" But the followers or the disciples did not answer, because their argument on the road was about which one of them was the greatest. Jesus sat down and called the 12 apostles to him. He said, "Whoever wants to be the most important must be last of all and servant of all." Then Jesus took a small child and had him stand among them. Taking the child in his arms, he said, "Whoever accepts a child like this in my name accepts me, and whoever accepts me accepts the one who sent me." So, whenever I read this scripture, I just always try to put myself in the disciples' shoes. Jesus just told them that he was going to be killed and risen from the dead in 3 days. What the heck? Right? So anyway, the disciples are embarrassed because Jesus caught them. They know they're guilty, they were arguing, but they're not going to admit it. They think maybe if they don't answer his question, he'll forget about it. I am sure that you have done that with your parents or your teachers. Play dumb and they'll eventually move on, right? He'd been talking about how their adventure together would end, and it's an ugly end, but maybe ultimately a hopeful one. They don't totally get it, which is fine, neither would I. But they're not even trying to get it. As soon as Jesus is done talking, they start whispering amongst themselves about who's the best, who's his favorite, who's got the highest score, because that's what's important. They know they're in the wrong, and that's why they shut up as soon as he says something. It's foolish to compare or rank each other, right? And maybe Jesus wishes that they were more focused. Maybe he wishes that they would understand better about this critical moment and how they need to step up and how much would depend on them when he was gone. Or maybe Jesus just wishes for a friend. Maybe he wishes for someone, any one of them, to put a hand on his shoulder, pull him close, and just say, "You know what, Jesus, I do not understand what it's like to be you. There's no way I could even get it. But I love you, and I'm so sorry that this is such a hard time." I don't want to be too hard on the disciples because they often don't understand what's going on. And lots of preachers and teachers in our world now are kind of hard on them. But Chad Myers suggests that their faults and their imperfectness is actually what makes the disciples such good characters. If they had understood everything Jesus was saying, if they fully embraced the mystery of the kingdom and the power of God, well, yeah, that'd be great. But then those of us left to decipher these stories thousands of years later might feel like we have no place to enter, no sympathetic friend in that cast of characters. We wouldn't have anyone to relate to when we don't understand or we feel a little bit out of the loop. As they are, the disciples are eager and selfish. They're committed and confused. And they're devoted but distracted, just like us. And we see them learn and grow and change as the story evolves. And it's not always moving forward. Sometimes they grasp the truth in one scene and then they forget it in the next. Just like us. We are all positives and negatives. We are failures and successes. We are good and we're bad, all wrapped up in these human bodies. The complication here is that the disciples understand partially They know there's a lot at stake. They know something big is about to happen. They know that he is bringing something new to the world and they want to be a part of it, but they don't quite understand how fundamentally different this big thing is going to be. They're imagining the hierarchies that govern the world they currently live in, the Roman government, the church structured the way it was, that will continue into whatever's coming. But in that newness, they imagine that they are going to be the ones at the top because Jesus is going to be king, or so they think. And even though they don't tell Jesus this is what they've been arguing about, Jesus knows. His response back to them proves he's heard more than they think he has. And he challenges them. He challenges their hearts. He tugs at the hand of a little child, pulls the child to the middle of their circle, and tells the disciples, "Look here." He wraps that child in a hug, and he says, "This is the center of the new world." Think about the disciples. They're standing there arguing about who's going to be the best. Jesus is going to be king. And then he tells them this little 3-year-old is going to be the center of the new world. They have to stop squabbling with each other. They have to stop imagining what it's going to be like to be at the top. To see Jesus and the child he embraces, they have to look down, literally. Looking down, they see their teacher seated. They see a very young child cradled in his arms. They see their dusty sandals they've been wearing on a long journey. They probably see birds pecking at the ground. They might see ants carrying tiny crumbs that are twice the ant's size. They might see a weed or a wildflower cracking through the dirt. They see vulnerability, and they see the ground holding all of it. And looking down, they can begin to imagine a new way. Looking down, not up to the top, not up to the tip of the mountain, not to the top of the hierarchy. Not the same old hierarchies with different people playing the positions, with some elevated kings and emperors at the top, and then underfoot is the poor and the lost. They can think about how the world might change if children and chickens and bugs and lilies and quiet but wise and humble teachers receive as much care and attention, or maybe even more, than those kings and those high priests. Maybe they could even give their hearts to a world like that. Maybe the disciples could realize that all the time they have spent with Jesus on these roads with these people, hoping to get to the top, was actually to see what's at the bottom and to devote their hearts to that purpose. That's it for today. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I know that this weekend is Blair's prom. You juniors and seniors have a fantastic time, make lots of memories, and be safe. Take care of one another. If you should need anything at all, before prom, during prom, after prom, please do not hesitate to call me. I am here to help you and to keep you safe as well. So everybody have fun, and I hope to see you all soon. I'm going to skip youth group this weekend because I have a feeling that you're all going to be doing homework and catching up on sleep on Sunday. So we'll take this week off. I'll see you soon. Take care.